Hey mamas, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Bilger, a birth and postpartum doula who is passionate about helping women enter motherhood feeling informed, supported, and empowered. Join us every episode to learn from professionals, special guests, and moms just like you, ensuring that you know what you need to know and discover things that you didn't know before. I believe in you. Let's doula this and let's navigate the transition of entering motherhood together. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Entering Motherhood. I'm so excited you're here, and I'm really excited to get into this conversation today because we are talking about how we can be preparing for birth fearlessly. And this is something that has really been coming up lately and something that I have had conversations with clients and friends and family, and just this idea of all of these thoughts and scenarios and fears that surround birth and what outside influences are kind of generating and creating to cause us to have fears, and then just our own personal anxieties and beliefs and situations that are also bringing up a lot of fear surrounding birth. And not only birth, but then into motherhood and just, am I doing it right? What am I doing wrong? Like all of these different things that come up. And so specifically, I really wanted to dedicate this episode to discuss preparing for birth in a fearless way. And this is true for any birth, but specifically, especially if you are hoping to go unmedicated. I think that this is something that's really important to consider and prepare for. And I also just want to start by saying, too, and stating this very clearly, that if you're choosing to go unmedicated, that does not make you any stronger than anybody else. Choosing to get pain medication does not make you weaker. I feel like all birth is equal in that respect. I have had an epidural, I had a cesarean, I had unmedicated births, I've had home birth. And so I've had a range of different experiences, and I can say that all of them are unique and special in their own way. And however you are preparing, whatever kind of birth you are envisioning is valid and perfect and exactly what's right for you. So this episode isn't about proving anything. It's really truly just about preparation, confidence, and understanding what it actually takes to walk into labor feeling steady and grounded. Because the truth is, fear doesn't just disappear on its own, but it can be replaced with preparation. So let's talk about how we can do that. And I want to start off by saying, what does fearless actually mean? And so when I say fearless, I don't mean you feel zero fear, that the fear is completely gone, that we have eliminated and completely wiped the fear away. And, even in my third pregnancy, I still felt nerves. I still felt worried about different things and what could happen, because honestly, like, birth is big, birth is really intense. There's a lot of unknown factors. Even after attending as many births as I have, as having my own personal birth experiences as well, and just hearing so many birth stories, there's still a lot of different things that uniquely happens for each individual and each different birth. And so fearless doesn't mean no fear. It really just means that fear isn't the one that's in charge. It means you understand what's happening to your body, you've prepared mentally and physically, you trust yourself, and it means that you know your options. And the biggest reason that birth feels scary is because it feels unpredictable. We can't control it. We can't predict exactly what's going to happen. But birth is physiological, and birth follows a design. So your body releases oxytocin to create your contractions. It has endorphins that help you cope and navigate labor. Your body builds this intensity gradually. It's not all at once. It doesn't just come at you. And so, your body's designed to give birth, and it's doing all of the things naturally. And when you understand that labor has this rhythm and it has this purpose, it becomes a lot less chaotic and a lot more intentional. And so, education about all of this process really helps reduce fear dramatically. Once we understand what's happening and what to expect, even if the unexpected might happen, it allows us to be more aware of the possibilities and really reduce that fear. And then specifically, if you're planning on going unmedicated, I really feel like preparation is not optional. You need to be doing something to prepare for this. And, you've probably heard the comparison of you wouldn't run a marathon without any training. Labor is physical, it's hormonal, it's very deeply mental. It has all of these different factors that we need to be preparing for. And the families that I attend who go unmedicated confidently have usually done these three things. One, they understand the stages of labor. Two, they've practiced different coping mechanisms and techniques. And three, they have strong support. So not only am I there, but they have a partner or somebody else. They have a provider who they know and they trust, and they are well aware of who is there in the room and supporting them. And truly, unmedicated birth isn't necessarily about pain tolerance. It's more so about coping skills and your environment. And so if you walk into labor thinking, I'll just see how it goes, that's usually when fear is going to take over. So instead, we need to be asking ourselves, how will I breathe when the contractions build up? What positions will feel good or are available to me? What words can really help me stay grounded and aligned with the birth that I want? And then how is your partner going to support you? If you have a doula, how are they going to support you? What is your provider doing in all of this? So confidence really comes from rehearsal and speaking things out into existence and really kind of playing this game of, well, what if this happens? What if that does happen? What if I need a cesarean? What does that mean? How am I going to work through that? What if baby's not in ideal position? How are we going to move forward? What if I have to be induced? What does that look like? And let me just backtrack a little bit there and not necessarily have to get induced. What if I choose to get induced? What if I choose to move forward and have a cesarean? What if I decide that I actually do want the epidural and I no longer want to go unmedicated? What if? What does that look like? What's your best case scenario? What's your worst case scenario? Just keep talking through all of these different situations. And I really feel like when we speak it into existence, when we say it out loud, it helps diminish that fear and it helps reduce a lot of these thoughts that are circulating in our head because we say it out loud and we're like, actually, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. Or actually, I think I know exactly how I would work through that. And so there's a lot of this mental shift that's required. This really isn't talked enough about. There's definitely conversations about the mental side of birth and needing to prepare mentally, but I don't think a lot of people preparing for birth go as deep into it as they probably should before the time comes. And so we need to really look at things in perspective. Even something as viewing contractions as something to escape, we need to flip that around and we need to view them as something to work with, something to work through, something to navigate and lean into. And this shift in perspective really has the ability to change everything. So instead of saying something like, how long will this last? That thought process now becomes, this contraction is bringing me closer to meeting my baby. Instead of thinking, this hurts, I can't do this anymore. we can flip that and say, this is really intense, but I can handle the intensity. And so language really matters. And that's why also choosing the people that you surround yourself with really matters. Because when you say, I can't do this, or this hurts, or this is too much, what are those people around you saying to you? What are they pouring back into you? I've watched women completely transform their labor just by changing how they're talking to themselves. And that can happen when me as a doula or your partner is speaking positively to you. Yes, you can do this. You're already doing this. Look at you. Look at how far you've come. Oh my goodness, you're bringing your baby closer and closer to you. I had a lot of these self-talks with my third birth. I had to sit with myself and say, let's go. Let's bring on every single contraction and give it all you got because it's go time. Baby's coming. I see it time and time again. We have the ability to flip that switch and we have the ability to zone in and just embrace it, reduce those fears and push through it because your nervous system responds to your thoughts. Your brain feels panic. It has the ability to feel that fear. It causes your body to tighten up. And when your body tightens up, labor often feels harder. It can be longer. And we really need to bring that calming presence. We really need to get to our safe space. And so I really wanted to bring up 5 different techniques and practical ways that we can work on preparing fearlessly. I want to make this really tangible. I want to make this really practical. And I want this to be something that you can feel ready to walk away with and ready to implement into your birth plan. And the first one is practice breathing now. We don't want to wait until labor to figure out how to breathe. We obviously, yes, you know how to breathe in and out, things like that. But we want to practice these awkward breathing, the horse lips, the controlled slow breaths, the long exhales. And we want to get into that pattern of understanding how that works and training our nervous system and our body for what that might look like during labor. And so slow, controlled breathing during pregnancy really helps prepare you for when you're actually in labor. So that might look something like inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 6 counts. That long exhale is really signifying to your body that it's safe. And this can be really beneficial when we want to clear out that fear. Just taking a breath sometimes can reset things and allow you to see things differently. Number 2 would be to move your body. I'm talking walking, squats, hip circles, maybe do a little prenatal yoga. Any sort of strength and mobility exercises really matter. There's different labor positions that you can look up and hear about and practice, and having that endurance to hold some of those labor positions and having the flexibility to get into some of those positions is going to make all the difference. Number 3 is creating a calm environment. And this could look different for everybody. Most of the time, a calming environment has to do with dim lightings, very minimal interruptions, some music that helps ground you, relax you, calm you. And then, of course, the people who are supporting you, maybe some different smells, some different sensations, comfort items like a specific blanket or pillow. But our birth hormones really thrive in a sense of privacy and safety. And so when we're able to create that environment and we have a plan on how we're going to create that, no matter what our setting is, that's going to be super helpful in letting us feel safe and lowering the fears that might come up. Number 4, I'm going to say is understand the why behind the pain. I say this is pain with purpose. Pain during labor is very different than an injury pain or sickness pain or anything along those lines. It's purposeful. It rises, it peaks, it falls. It's not continuous. And knowing that contractions end and every single time it's working for you and doing what it needs to do, it's a really powerful experience that we can allow our bodies to navigate through. And so understanding that and knowing why it's happening and knowing that it's helping dilate us, it's helping you face us, it's helping bringing your baby down and all of these different sensations and all of the different things that are going on, while we might associate those sensations with what we know as pain, we can redirect that and push through it and relax when we're not having that sensation so that we can jump back in and be ready for the next time it comes. And then number 5 is preparing for that mental dip, that drop, that moment that most moms that are going unmedicated are going to say, I can't do this. That is usually when transition is happening. That's usually when you are so close to the end. And we really want to prepare for how we're going to handle this and what that's going to look like when it's actually in that moment. Because it doesn't mean failure when you say you can't do this. And most of the time, it just means that you're really close. And knowing that ahead of time helps prevent any kind of panic or worry or fear that might be coming up in that moment. And so again, just going back to that education aspect of it and knowing all of our options and knowing what birth looks like, what birth sounds like, what experiences and sensations and different things going on might look like, it can really help lower that fear because you're saying like, oh, I've heard about this. I know what this is triggering. I know what this is. And we're not as fearful of it. We're allowing it to happen. We're stepping into it and we're welcoming it and embracing it. And that's really what's giving us that fearless aspect moving forward. And so again, just going into what fearlessly does not mean. And when we say fearless, we're not saying that we're refusing help. We're not ignoring any sort of exhaustion. We're not forcing an outcome, feeling shame if plans change. But instead, when we're saying fearless, it might mean saying, I need support, I need help, I want pain relief. This is what feels right. Understanding and listening to your body and saying what it needs in the moment can really help create that fearless mentality. And confidence is truly flexibility, and an empowered birth is one where you feel informed and supported and not one that's fitting any sort of labels or restrictions or is not aligned with how you envision it to be. And this again is where the role of our support really comes in. I can almost always tell which families are more prepared and have done their homework, if you will, and have really put in the work beforehand and thought about all these scenarios than those who maybe have not really fully stepped into it. And this is their partner actually knows what to do too. Their partner is calm. Their partner is involved. And their partner is not panicking when things intensify and when things get real. So support people also help set the tone. If your partner is anxious and unsure, that energy is going to transfer to you. Obviously, you have the ability to control what's coming in and what's coming out, but when you're feeling this uneasiness, when you're feeling the anxiousness, when you're not feeling like things are safe because of your partner or your support team or the people around you, you're in a very vulnerable state when you're in labor. And all of the outside influences and all of that energy has the ability to transfer to you and cause you to also feel those things. So it really is a team effort. It really is understanding who's in the room and how all of those different emotions and feelings are making you adjust and navigate birth. So it's important to have conversations like, what should my partner say if I ask for the epidural? What helps me feel safe? How will my support team advocate for me during different times? And this is really where our confidence can build because we've had those hard conversations. We've had those deep discussions. We know the what if scenarios. And so if it comes to it, we're prepared, we're set. And so a lot of those things that we're fearing and a lot of the things that we're nervous about have the ability to really just get stripped away because we know a little bit more of what to expect. Even if it's an unpredictable scenario, we can navigate knowing that there is roughly a plan and that the people around us have the ability to advocate for us. So, again, if you're planning to go for an unmedicated birth, this is super, super, super important and vital. But also, just any kind of birth, any kind of scenario, to leave feeling like it was a great experience and knowing that you did all that you wanted to and you really had a more fearless birth. This is also super important. And it's important to understand that your body is capable, your mind is super powerful, and that birth is intense. But that intensity does not translate to danger. We can prepare for it. We can practice. You can educate yourself. You can surround yourself with the support that you need. And then we can have these plans that we can create, but then hold on to them loosely. Have them in open hands and really just let it be what it is and what it will be, because a fearless birth isn't about controlling the outcome. It's about walking into labor and saying, I trust myself to handle whatever comes, and I trust the process. And that's truly the kind of confidence that has the ability to carry into your motherhood experience as well. When we're building this foundation, when we're creating trust in ourselves, when we are letting go of the outcome and just staying in what we can control, that's what we can bring into motherhood and that's what we can utilize. And that same preparation that we use for birth has the ability to trickle into how we parent, how we navigate tough moments, and how we move forward into motherhood. So that's what I really wanted to touch on and really wanted to talk about in this episode. If it resonated with you and you want to go deeper, if you want more structured preparation, if you want to be walking through the stages of labor, different coping techniques, partner support, advocacy, mindset, this is all exactly what we cover inside of the Own Your Birth Childbirth Education course. It is there and readily available for you. Me and this other doula, Caitlin, who was actually one of my past clients, created this because we saw so many women walking into birth feeling unprepared and overwhelmed. And there's only so much that you can do as a doula working with your clients and having that one-on-one time, but having a self-led course that they can really work through, navigate through, share with their partner. It's something that creates calm and balanced and empowered knowledge that they can take with them and go into the birth experience and go into motherhood with. And so it'll be linked in the show notes. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for caring about your birthing experience. And thank you for choosing preparation over fear and really stepping into this with all that you can. And so with that, I'll see you next time. Thank you, mamas, so much for listening. Remember, you are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch and let's kick it into high gear together. Hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, message me, email me, call me, beat me. You know how to reach me. We're doing this, mamas. I am so excited to catch you here next week. This is your one-stop go-to place for helping you find the resources you need to make the best choices for you and your family during pregnancy, birth, and most importantly, postpartum. See you later, mamas.